This is Sleeping in Trees, the audiobook, Chapter 5, Dumb Luck. Dinkle and I were flat on our backs, in the dark woods, looking up at the soft branches of scrub pine treetops, 50 feet above. Beyond was a deeply dark, indigo blue sky, an occasional wispy white cloud skirted by, pushed by a balmy evening breeze. We had laid quietly for about 3 minutes, so I knew it would not be long now. We spoke intermittently in a whisper. Crickets made their scratchy racket. A single frog croaked nearby, and something moved to our side through the palmettos, rustling as it passed by. A skunk or possum, I thought. Not a wild boar or panther, I hoped. Dinkle was a quiet romantic, with a quirky side. The bold one who would wear ridiculously mismatched articles of clothing or eat an outrageous combination of food. He'd climb up onto a rooftop and jump off just to see what would happen. Ankle sprained but never broken, he would tear off around the side of the house and be missing for 2 hours. None of us could run as fast as Dinkle, barefoot straight up the street, nor would any of us attempt to match his frightening leaps on his stingray off ramps or ledges, or even the careening blasts down his solid coral rock steps to the street below. He was quiet, steady, generous, and kind, and a true friend to the end. Lying in the woods, the tops of the 2-foot-tall palmettos that concealed us suddenly lit up with the headlights of an approaching car. I was afraid of this. It slowed, almost drawing to a complete stop. I poked my head up a few inches and peered through the serrated fronds. Disturbingly, it appeared to be turning right into the driveway opposite our hidden lair. This was very bad and going downhill fast. There was nothing we could do but hope they continued on and into the garage. They did. I watched intently as an older gentleman stepped out of the big sedan. Electric garage door openers were yet to come. His wife was illuminated by the courtesy lamp overhead. He lifted the garage door, slid back into the front bench seat, and eased the car inside. In a moment, the door was pulled back down and closed with a solid thunk. Not long after my inaugural flash powder mishap in the backyard that almost took off my face, I discovered the utility of the cigarette. Sure, they were designed to smoke, reduce stress, aid digestion, and as I would learn much later in life, provide the ideal conclusion to a successful and satisfying romp in the hay. But they could do more. A modern cigarette is a heck of a piece of technology, from design to materials to construction. The cigarette really delivers. After all, tobacco growers and manufacturers have been refining them for hundreds of years. The cigarette was born in Central America in the 9th century, by any measure a very long time ago. It has taken numerous forms and has had many iterations and innovations to come to its place today. Even though it is clearly very unhealthy to enjoy, the cigarette is still immensely popular the world over, especially in emerging countries. Wikipedia estimates that 4 trillion cigarette butts are scattered around the globe. That's a lot of zeros, a lot of butts. I love cigarettes, though I only occasionally smoke them. A pyrotechnician needs a way to detonate without being detonated. It's a basic skill set highly supportive of a long and productive explosives career. The common cigarette was a key tool in any pyrotechnician's toolbox. Unlike pipe tobacco or a cigar, the cigarette will continue to burn unattended and unpuffed. Perhaps best of all, wind will not extinguish it. It is my understanding that the manufacturers add a special chemical, no surprise, that aids the burning process, and thus its unique and added utility as an ideal fuse timer. Here is how it's done. Light a cigarette with a puff or two. Twist off the filter. Hold the remaining piece between 2 fingers. Slowly twist the torn, unlit end onto the end of a fuse. Make sure it is seated about a ½ inch down. This ensures that it will not fall off and also that it will provide enough heat to detonate the fuse in about 4 minutes, give or take 30 seconds. We laid on our backs and sweated. It was hot and terribly humid. The homeowner's drive-by had unnerved us both, but we knew ignition would come at any moment. I was certain of it. Abruptly, the sky and pine canopy overhead flashed bright white. Imagine 1,000 camera flashes in unison. Next came a vacuum of complete silence, followed in a microsecond by a deep, concussive boom. The force rumbled through the ground and hit us both deep in the gut. It reverberated off the fronts of the homes all the way down the street, echoing impressively. The little front door to the mailbox ripped through the woods not 10 feet to my left, shearing off a handful of palmettos en route. We covered our heads and counted to 4. Right on schedule, the metal mailbox, now bowed completely inside out, landed with a metallic clatter in the street 50 feet away. Time to go. In a flash, Dinkle and I were streaking through the woods, hurdling palmettos and dodging pines. Within half a minute, we were out onto the dark street a block away. We took a sharp left and headed straight on in a full sprint. After a quick right into a side yard, Dinkle hurdled a hedge with me right on his tail. We turned left onto the next block and slowed to a jog. Soon we were walking home. We were 11-year-old boys and thought we were pretty smart. Our operation had gone off mostly without a hitch. Flawless execution, we agreed. Actually, we were dumber than stone, beyond stupid. First of all, our small act of destruction was a felony. It is not okay to mess around with the U.S. Postal Service and damage or blow up someone's mail along with the box it resides in. Much more seriously, what if that older couple had not been just returning from dinner, but instead had been gone all day and had decided to stop and get the mail on their way into the house? We had not considered that. No, we were too young and too dumb. I've considered it often in the years since. Never used a trebuchet? Never even heard of one? Well, this next tale is for you. It's Chapter 6 of Catapults and Slingshots.